All right. So, yep, my name is Nick. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay. So my name is Nick, and I'm a child and family services specialist with the Harcum House, which is the Child Advocacy Center, the local Child Advocacy Center here in Lancaster, Ohio. We service Fairfield County, Hocking County, Perry County, and Morgan County. And I also have with me today is our interim director, Rhonda Wells. So Rhonda, please feel free to jump in as well. She is also our SANE clinic manager, sexual assault nurse examiner. She's been doing this for quite some time as well. A little bit about me. I come from children's services and law enforcement background. I am a credentialed and registered advocate. So I've been doing this about 22 years total in the various facets of service, from law enforcement, CPS, and now victim advocacy and interviewing. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Harcum House and what we do. And if you have any questions, please interrupt, and we can address those questions, because we're just going to talk today. So this is a little bit about Harcum House, our mission and vision, to reduce trauma and enhance healing by providing advocacy, education, and outreach. So generally, when a case rolls in, there's a lot of investigations involved, a lot of agencies involved. And then what happens after the dust settles? Well, that's where the Advocacy Center is most important. We are concerned about reducing trauma and enhancing healing, and that's through our mental health services that we provide as well here at the Harcum House. Because after I like to call it the dust settling, everything happens so fast and it goes to a grinding halt. And then families are often confused. They've never navigated the system before, the multiple systems that would be involved, such as children's services or the American criminal justice system. They're not familiar with that. So that is one of the main focuses of the Harcum House. So we also do some outreach. So we're working on, and even in the middle of COVID, we are still working on trying to get some outreach educational programs into the schools. We are working with trying to work through a grant we just received on some education regarding, body safety. These will be evidence-based programs that we're going to bring in. We used to have these programs, and we have been refunded for that. So we're going to focus on that, and some schools have reached out to us, and it was met with some pretty good success last time. And so we're going to focus on that again. We envision a safety that is safer, healthier, and better informed about the impact of trauma and abuse. I mean, you know what we say, a more educated and better informed community leads to better prevention measures and abuse awareness. So one of our main focuses here is to, inform our community about what we do and the services we've had. And so those are our mission and vision statements that we have. A little bit of background about the Harcum House. We go way back to 2007 when we operated out of a one-room building, very small. 2007, we received some funding from a grant that was in coordination with Child Protective Services. They wanted to bring a CAC to Lancaster, Fairfield County, Ohio, and that's what started the CAC of Fairfield County. We began our full services in 2008. And when we say full services, that means medical clinic, victim advocacy, and forensic interviewing. In the beginning, it was just one person that was doing the victim advocacy, and the forensic interviewers were from law enforcement or CPS that were trained. But as we have grown, and there are smaller CACs that are around where, I'll take Licking for an example, Licking County, which is the kids' place. They don't have any in-house forensic interviewers. Their interviewers come from line law enforcement detectives and CPS workers that are trained. So Fairfield County is very blessed to have a cadre of forensic interviewers. But in the beginning, the forensic interviewers were from CPS, and the victim advocate was the one that would be stationed here. We also opened up our clinic in the fall of 2008. It was part-time medical clinic. And as of 2019, we are a full-time medical clinic. So we're almost running on 2 years of having a full-time staffed, SANE nurse here that is overseen by medical director, Dr. Dominguez, who is Fairfield County physician. So he is our medical director here. So we became fully accredited center by National Children's Alliance in 2012. That's awesome. That means we follow best practices and models throughout the country. I believe there's over 800 CACs that are involved with the National Children's Alliance, and we are an accredited member there. That means we have an accrediting body, NCA, come down on site, go through our files, interview our teams to see that we are following that. So we're very proud that we are an accredited member. Our clinic is also accredited as well, our medical clinic. In 2013, the board of directors voted to change the name to Harcum House. And if anyone's from the Fairfield County community, we know Mr. and Mrs. Dave and June Harcum, big philanthropists involved with the community foundation, established a child abuse prevention grant, just wonderful people. Mr. Harcum had passed away a few years ago, but his wife, Mrs. June Harcum, is still part of our board. She's kind of an emeritus position. She is one of the founders of this place. And so Mr. Harcum came and said to our team in the very beginning, "What do you need?" And when we reached out and told him what we needed to continue to function and operate way back when, he said, "Let's get it done." And his ability to get that done made us what we are today. So we honor him by calling it the Harcum House. So we did retain the CAC program. So back in 2013, when we were the Harcum House, we were also a couple other things. We were the CAC. So think of the Harcum House as the umbrella, and then underneath of it is, different services that we provide. So we're no longer just the Child Advocacy Center. We do have mental health services. We do have Pet Connection, child therapy. We do have, we have our outreach program. So it's like an umbrella, if you will. We just got reaccredited in 2018, so we're good for another few more years before we have to come up, and that's a pretty rigorous thing to go through. They spend a couple days here. They allow the public to weigh in. So we're very proud of what we've done with the accreditation process. And finally, we've done long-time business with Perry County since we've been opened. And in 2020, we all got together and decided that we were going to formalize operations in Perry County. So we now formally give services to Perry County, and they do part of our case review. So this is a beautiful thing. There has been MDT, standing for multidisciplinary team. And if I'm saying something in a lingo, I'll try to make it more layman's terms, but an MDT, multidisciplinary team, there is high effectiveness when there is a multidisciplinary team approach to child abuse. And when I say multidisciplinary team, I'm talking about law enforcement, DD, mental health, child protective services, prosecution. And when there's a case that involves all of those parties and they come together and they're working on this case, and then we review those cases, it allows each individual partner that's part of that team to have a 360-degree view of this case, from the level of mental health therapy to the investigation process from those bodies as well. So there has been countless surveys that have been given across the country regarding MDT approach to child abuse. And those surveys have all returned at about a 96 to 98% satisfaction rate when there is an MDT approach to child abuse issues. And so we have informally given services to Perry County and Morgan County and Hocking County. And we've always done formal services with Fairfield, but the Ohio Network of Child Advocacy Centers, which is our state coalition that oversees the 25 CACs in Ohio, their goal was to no child should never have access to a CAC. And so what that means is that every county, 88 counties, that yes, there may not be a physical building that is sitting in that county for CAC services, but that county does have access to CAC services. And so the goal was for the Ohio Network of Child Advocacy Centers, ONCAC, was to get those brick and mortar CACs to reach out and formalize multidisciplinary teams in the state of Ohio. And when that came out, Harcum House in Fairfield County was one of the first, after they had asked for that, to make that happen. So we went and attacked that immediately, and we formalized our MOU with Perry County in 2020. So it was really awesome. Because of COVID, We couldn't meet face to face. We had judges that were giving us their judges' chambers in the courtrooms to do this formal signing with the media. And then COVID hit. And so we had to delay it. So we actually came out with a TikTok style video that we posted on our Facebook page, where the MDT is, receiving it off camera. They're saying something, they're signing it, and then they're handing it off camera. So it looks like, the TikTok videos that we're kind of in. And I don't know from experience, my kids, they've shown me. So, but yeah, it was really neat. It's been well received, and it's really exciting. So check us out on Facebook and see that video. It's been pretty well received in the community. So again, going back to the programs we have the Child Advocacy Center. We're going to talk a little bit about each one of these, but we have the Child Advocacy Center. We have the Pet Connection Pet Therapy Program. We have Trauma Recovery and Counseling Services, Miss Sharon Coos. We took her from another agency. She's amazing. And she does a great job with our kiddos that come in here and receive those services. We are seeing with our own eyes, these children are in the process of healing. We are seeing that they love Sharon so much that they don't want to quit therapy with her. It's amazing to see what she has done. I like to brag about Sharon a lot. Sharon comes from an extensive education background and extensive years of trauma-related therapy. She is a graduate of Notre Dame in Auburn, so she's just an amazing person, and we are blessed to have her. We do have outreach and education programs that we are working on. Again, we just received the Edward Byrne JAG grant, so that is a wonderful thing. We're going to be able to get back into schools. We're going to work on some evidence-based programs to try to educate children. There will never be such thing as prevention. You will never prevent something from happening. But what we do is we turn that around and we use awareness. For example, April is Child Abuse Awareness Month. It used to be prevention. Well, you'll never prevent child abuse. And so we're going to make it people aware of it. And that is our goal with outreach and education. A better informed community is a more vigilant community and a more aware community. And that is why we're going to go back to this outreach and education programs that we have. Moving along. So what is a Child Advocacy Center? So we have, we've created a brochure to really make it in the layman's terms, what we talk about, what a CAC is. And I like to think of it basically as a one-stop shop. When there is an issue regarding child abuse with a family, this is where you would go to get these services. They're focused and trauma-informed facilities, so they don't look like a police department. They don't look like a CPS building. It does kind of look like a doctor's office over here, but there's no owies, as Rhonda would like to say. There's no ouchie owies. You don't get shots here. And she's amazing what she does when she talks to those little ones about it. But it's a very trauma-informed facility, very relaxed here. We do offer, we try to get down on their level. We meet them at their level. So here's a family that is in the whirlwind of crisis. They're coming here. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what's going to happen the next day, and enter the advocate. The advocate is the person that's going to walk them through from the beginning, the middle, the end, and assist them through every process to understand. I like to tout our advocates here. Again, we have at the CAC here, we have over 200 years of experience. That is not just, and we're not a big agency, but we have over 200 years of experience, not just from advocacy, but from all facets that would involve the family. We're talking, 30 years of medical. We're talking, 25 years of law enforcement and child protective services. We're talking 40 years of mental health therapy. So we not just dealing specifically with CAC issues, but outside those. So the multiple facets that are involved. All of our staff here are trained in the services that we actually are working with. So for an example, when I talk with the detectives, I understand their lingo and they understand me. And when I'm talking to them, I can relay it to the families on a more layman's terms when we're talking. And so there's kind of that relief that I'm that middleman that allows us to get that information to and from the family, and the detectives can focus on their job and I can focus on helping the family out. And in child protective services. So we all know that child protective services are it's a beautiful thing. I've worked with them and I worked for them, and they are running from call to call to call as well. And they're in the field working, and they don't have the availability to spend 30, 40 minutes on a phone with a family. Well, that's where the advocate comes in. and we have a beautiful relationship. We communicate with over 40 agencies in Fairfield, Morgan, Hocking, and Perry counties, multiple agencies such as law enforcement, prosecutor's office, and we have a really good rapport with those agencies. So me sending an email quickly to a detective in Lancaster, I'm going to get a faster response and say the parent, and that's not a bad thing. It's because I can make it more layman's terms. So we have created this this brochure, and I'll be glad to send it to you, Rachel, and you can dole it out to people, and they can print it and use it as needed. We have a stack of them here at the office as well. But basically what it does is it's going to talk about what we do, and it's going to answer a lot of questions about, you know, what is a CAC? What is an MDT, a multidisciplinary team? What happens at the CAC? What do you tell your children about if they've got to schedule an appointment at the CAC? Who can the family talk to? What happens after the interview? Will my child need a medical exam? And should my child get counseling? And you know, this is broke down into very, very layman's terms to help families. And we see them. And this is what we remember, is that child abuse doesn't have a socioeconomic boundary. Child abuse will affect the rich as well as the poor, and will affect all regions in the country. So this is something that we try to address and look at. But our main focus here is to reach those families at their level. They are going to come in, and what we like to do is put our arms around that family, listen to them, and let them know they're not alone. And there are families that come in and they are alone, but they're not alone when they have the CAC, when they have the Child Advocacy Center here in Lancaster. So there's been a lot of research that you can look up through the National Children's Alliance that using a CAC model and a multidisciplinary team approach to child abuse related cases have shown a reduction in trauma and an enhanced sense of healing. So we are a one-stop shop. And when I say that, I'm talking medical services, mental health services, outreach programs, victim advocacy, forensic interviewing. That is what a Child Advocacy Center is. We are the center of that wheel that is going to dole out to those other agencies to keep this case on task. So here is the CACs that are in Ohio. They are numbered, and this is I've taken this from the Ohio Network of Child Advocacy Centers, and you can see that we're right here in Fairfield County, right there, in Perry, Hocking, and Morgan. They're white, and that means, and this is an outdated map, but white means that they have no MDT, meaning there's not even an MDT there that is working, a formalized MDT. That means, and so this was the goal for ONCAC, is to make all of that either orange, blue, or that beige color. And what that means is that shows what's going on. So the orange ones are established CACs. The blue ones are MDTs, multidisciplinary teams. And then the beige ones are forming. So if you look at that whole southeastern Ohio swath down here of counties, there's a lot of white down there, just like there is up here in the north central part. But down here is where our focus is, which is Appalachia, Ohio. And anyone that is familiar with Appalachia, Ohio knows that we are under-resourced and we are underserved down here. I read an article in the Columbus Dispatch back in March that there was one therapist, one certified psychiatrist, I don't want to say therapist, psychiatrist, that is in this area. And that, to me, that just talks about how underserved we are when we're talking about mental health capacities in there. So our goal is to reach out to that southeastern Ohio and get these kiddos services, having access to them. So here's what we offer here at the Child Advocacy Center: forensic interviewing of children. All of our forensic interviews are in fact trained. I am one. We were trained under several protocols and modalities. And we, first and foremost, we were Child First State. So we go under Finding Words protocol, which is through the Corner House in Minnesota. And we have trained under Tomline 10-step program, Beyond the Silence, Radar. These are all different programs throughout the state, and we believe in educating our staff here. And so we're not only trained under one protocol, but several protocols that are evidence-based and research-driven forensic interviews. And if you're not real sure what a forensic interview is, basically it is a non-leading interview, reducing any suggestibility in that interview. So when we have cases come in and parents have recordings of their kids saying that something happened to them, that could be thrown out in court in a technicality issue, suppressed as evidence. And it's because the parent is asking questions that are very leading in nature, and they're introducing suggestibility. And a lot of times An example would be, you know, mom or dad holding up the phone, recording the child in the background. The parent is like, tell me what he did to you. Tell me about blah, blah, blah doing something to you. Well, that's leading, and we can lead. And what I always tell when I'm speaking at these engagements is that if we can convince our children that a large bunny comes in at Easter time and delivers eggs, Easter egg baskets to your house, or that a big man in a red suit wedges himself down a chimney and delivers presents, we can convince our children of anything. And so this is why we have forensic interviews. And it starts out like, think of an hourglass, very broad at the top. That's rapport building, very narrow in the middle, transitioning to the topic of concern. So what brings you in today? And then broadening back out. And the broadening back out is the closure and the reduction of trauma. So the kids walk out of the room, they're not like, I can't believe I was just talking to a stranger about something that I didn't even want to talk about. And we don't force anyone here to not to talk about something. These kids are not being interrogated. We're giving them an opportunity to make a disclosure of something that's very, very difficult in their life. And if they don't want to talk, that's fine. And I like to tell parents that, you know, sometimes parents come in and they're like, I want my kid to talk. And I'm like, you know what? There's times when you come home from work and you don't want to talk. It's the same thing as applied here. They don't want to talk, and that's okay, but we open that up to them. Obviously, advocacy is there for crime victim services. We do walk them through Marcy's Law. We do walk them through the Ohio crime victim rights that they have in Ohio. We do inform them that if you are here at the CAC for a session, that you cannot be fired or disciplined as a result of that. And we do write them work excuses. And if the employer has a question or concern about that, we will kindly educate them in the rights guaranteed by the Ohio Constitution and the victim rights in the United States. So you cannot be disciplined or fired from that. Now, they can take your sick or your PTO away and use that as a day, but you cannot be fired or disciplined for coming here. We do acute and chronic sexual assault exams. That is where Rhonda comes in, and she is amazing with those kids. Our exams are non-speculum in nature. They're overall well-child exam. Rhonda does interview the children in the medical exam because she's doing it from a medical care standpoint. So Rhonda, if you want to jump in, or there's something I'm saying that's incorrect, please correct me, because this is Rhonda's realm. But we don't do it. Rhonda has an awesome thing that we call the medical exception and hearsay rule with her, because she is a provider regarding medical care. She can actually testify in court to exactly what the child has said, and there's no cross-examination to the child. So Rhonda is actually a very beautiful asset to this agency because the medical exception and hearsay rule, and cops and prosecutors love that. We do trauma-informed counseling for children. We do have Ms. Sharon Coos here that is amazing. She is trained in many modalities regarding child therapy. We do courtroom preparation, which is awesome. Prepping a child, an 8-year-old little girl or little boy, to go to court can be a pretty scary thing. And so the prosecutor's office will bring those children over to talk about some stuff and slowly get them introduced to being on the stand. And by the time they're done with that, they're rocking and rolling on the stand like a champ. And we also go with them to court to make sure that they're aware of. Also, we cover victim compensation and notification programs. So if you lost money as a result of being a victim of a crime, you can be compensated for that. Let's say you had medical bills or you had property that needed to be replaced. We can assist with that. And we also work with notification programs when perpetrators are out of jail. We make sure that they're aware of the VINE program in Ohio. We assist of referrals. If there's something we can't do here, we absolutely love our community-based services, and we will refer out to them. We have a great working partnerships with multiple community-based services in the county and all of the counties we serve, and we love to dole those out and work with them because they're great team members. And we do long-term advocacy. So long after the case closes and there's a disposition within the court systems, we still help that family all the way through until they basically tell us, Nick, we don't need you anymore. Thanks for everything. So we'll go all the way if we have to. We had cases open 2.5 years working with families. These are our cases by each year that we've had. So you can see we hover right around about 235 cases a year on average. But you can see that we're not even to the end of 2020 yet. COVID did not slow us down. I think, in fact, COVID did increase us. And here's why. Because those children are when they had school as structure, they are now thrust into the seat of being at home every day with their abuser. And so the abuse continues, and there's not that oversight. Sometimes schools are the only structure some of these children get. And so when they are no longer in school, the abuse will continue. Plus the economic impact of families not being able to provide causes frustration, and then they turn to alcohol or drug use, and then the abuse continues. So it's much more dangerous during this time. And there's been some research that have come out recently talking about the increase of child abuse cases as a result of COVID, children being trapped at home. So there's our Connection Pet Therapy program. It's a really cool thing. That's our team down there that we have. They are all certified therapy animals, and they go out to the libraries, and they do reading programs, reading literacy programs. And of course, with COVID, that has kind of stopped. But they have been serving our community for 10 years, and it's just awesome, amazing what they have. And I believe that Chrissy Price had spoken previously on this. So that's she's awesome. We love Chrissy here, and she does an amazing program. Here is our trauma recovery therapy program that we do have. What we have a certified clinical trauma professionals that can probably speak to more detail of what it is. These are some of the modalities that we do use: trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy and EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, and the neurosequential model therapeutics that we're still working on getting trained on. I guess that's a pretty big program that our two therapists are going through. Dr. Bruce Perry, anyone in the trauma or therapy field knows Dr. Bruce Perry. So this is the end step. We love having mental health at our case review because we get to see the outcome that these children are healing through all of this. Because we all know when we think back as in our childhood, we can think about things that were really great in our life, and we can think about little things that were not good, or big things that weren't good in our life, and we can reflect on them. As we're sitting here right now, we can recall something good or bad in our childhood. Well, one day it's going to rear its ugly head for these children, and we want to make sure that they have resilience and coping mechanisms to continue to be a functioning adult and contributing to the overall betterment of society, and have their input and be valued, and knowing that, you know, people care about them and they have a support system. It is incumbent upon all Harcum House staff members to be a broker for this child and family. So if we can't provide services to them here in-house because maybe Sharon is maxed out, we will broker for that family. We're going to vet those agencies to make sure that they are trauma-informed care, because that is what we do as advocates. We're going to vet them, and it's incumbent on everyone here that we do that, because we want to make sure that they're receiving the appropriate care so this doesn't haunt them again. So we are governed. We are a public nonprofit. We are governed by a board of directors. And as you can see, what our board of directors, and I'm going to provide you the list here on the next slide. But we have 14 members that they are providing foresight, oversight, and insight. They come from all walks of professional backgrounds, from business line directors at Fairfield Medical Center to business owners to attorneys to marketing and PR relations for various agencies. So we got them all. We have Howard Long, who is the director of the YMCA. He's part of our board. Adam Van Dyke, our president, who is over the business line for orthopedics at Fairfield Medical Center. So we got some very valuable players, and there are advocates and ambassadors to Harcum House's mission and vision, and they contribute to our cultural focus, our strategic focus, our effectiveness, and our sustainability. We answer to the public. This is a public nonprofit. We are funded by public dollars. So we are very proud that we are very open and sharing information with our program. And every year we bring on new board members, as other board members are. We're looking for the best because we want to be the best in the community. They oversee our financial responsibilities. They make sure that the bills are paid and that we are getting grants and that we are doing it. So just blessed to have the team that we have at our board level. Our board of directors are here. You can see, you might recognize some of those names. Those are some pretty well names in this community. June Harcum is our founder. Adam Van Dyke is our president. Adam is an amazing person. Kathy Boucher, Mitch Campbell, who owns a local business. Beth Dubberly, she is retired from Nationwide. She was a marketing director there. Amy Gordon, Regina King, marketing director, human resources and PR marketing director over there at FMC. Marianne Lape runs the social work program for OU. We have Marianne Richards, Melinda Van Buren. She was an ER nurse for many, many years, well known, and Howard Long, the director of the YMCA. So we pick the best, and we don't find, if we need somebody that's really good with numbers, we bring them. If we need somebody really good with marketing, we bring them. So they're from all walks of life and all career professional backgrounds, because that is what makes us flow. And it allows us to have a very wide view of our focus, because somebody that is from a marketing background may look at something different from somebody with a social work background. And that's the value of having a very diverse, successful board of directors. And that's why we have the directors that we have, and they do a great job with us. Joyce Cox, Michelle Duncan, who's a social worker, has her own business. She is amazing with Limitless Counseling. Joyce Cox is a nurse practitioner in the community. She's just amazing people. This is our current staff. Not a big agency, but we work together. We're a well-oiled machine here. We have our interim director, Rhonda, who is on the call right now, and she brings a lot of credibility to our agency. She is our key contact for our MDT. They love her, they respect her, they reach out for ideas. Mindy Helm, she's our numbers cruncher. She pays us and gets the bills on time, assesses our grants, does a great job. Robert Dominguez, if you know him, he's well known in the community. He's our medical director. Child family therapist is Sharon Coos. Our outreach specialist is Amy Parker. She is a licensed social worker, and she's a certified trauma professional as well, therapist professional as well. Our child and family services specialist is myself, Mary Kay Banville, who retired from DD after 30 years of service. So Mary Kay is our DD specialist here, and she does a great job. She's an advocate also and a forensic interviewer. Madison is also an advocate and a forensic interviewer. She just graduated from OU last year, and she's one of our interviewers. And then me, we have a client's rights officer that is Billy McLeod. She actually just left that. She is now working full-time at the school. So we were working on getting a person in for the client's rights. But a client's rights officer is, if somebody has a complaint or we're checking in on our surveys to make sure that we're meeting the needs of the family, that is what the client's rights officer does. And then our connection coordinator is Chrissy Price. So you can see that together we bring over 200 years of experience in things from various disciplines to make this a well-oiled machine that it is. So that's it. Right around, I tried to make it right around the half hour for you. Didn't want you falling asleep on me. Do you have any questions or comments? Please email me. We can take them now. Call me, text me on that line down there, 409-2442. That is the agency cell. You can email me, visit us on our website. We are also on Facebook as well. Give us a shout out if there's anything we can do. We work very closely with the Board of DD, here in Fairfield County, and we're glad. There's some great team members over there that we just couldn't do without them. And then when Mary Kay retired, we stole her, and she's over here now. So she's one of our in-house specialists regarding the realm of DD. So thank everybody for coming and listening to me drone on for a half hour. Do you guys have any questions or anything?